Not every person will accept you. Simple as that, because rejection is rife. We all get rejected as dating coaches because that's the way the world works.
I don't get rejected.
Oh, shut up! Shut up!
Go out and improve on yourself, you know, whether it's your confidence or how you communicate.
What you need to do is take a moment and decide to work on yourself. If you don't feel like you're the best looker, doesn't matter if you have a great personality. I've said this a million times, I'll say it again. If you're funny, you can laugh me into bed. But funny normally comes with confidence, and that's what you need to find within yourself. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Karma Couch with me, your expert dating coach Annabella Rose, and this beautiful human, your expert dating coach Iain Myles. Now today we are back with a very interesting topic, and one that I feel very, very passionately about. But before we start, click that cheeky subscribe button and turn on the notifications, as there's so many more videos coming your way. So Iain, what's today's topic?
So today's topic, the thing that we're going to talk about today is she out of your league?
Dun 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 dun. Now this, to me, I've heard it a million times. So many people I come into contact with, whether they be male or female, have these people that are in their lives that they're like, oh, she's out my league, he's out my league. Yeah. They're too good for me. And it irritates me to my core, because essentially not only are you putting them on a pedestal, but you're actually underselling yourself. And rather than raising them up because you think that's a good thing, how I perceive it is you're actually lowering yourself in the food chain, as you were, of the dating world. So what I want to know though, is it a good thing to put somebody on a pedestal? Is it a good thing to claim that somebody's out of your league? Or is it actually more detrimental to put somebody and hold them to such high esteem? So what do you think? Have you ever found a girl or met a girl and be like, oh, she's out of my league?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I suppose when I was much younger, you know, and we're talking about like pre my being a dating coach, you know, pre all this. Yeah, when I was much younger, you know, I was a wholly different kind of person, you know, I was much different. I was kind of much more shy, and, you know, I lacked those social skills. So yeah, there were some situations where I'd meet a girl, like, you know, I met a girl a long time ago that I really liked. Yeah. You know, and I kind of put her on a pedestal at the time, and so I think, yeah, completely, you know, it is the wrong thing to do. You don't, as forming relationships, starting relationships, maintaining relationships, you don't need to put anyone on a pedestal. You know, the relationship and how you maintain it should be completely kind of like independent. You should be able to lead it, you know, from your values and from what you believe, you know. So okay, so yeah. When you say you think back to your younger self, was there a specific girl that you remember that you were just like, yeah? Do you remember? Okay. I remember the moment.
Yeah, the moment where she was like, oh my God. Okay, so now, they always say, well, people say, the saying goes, that hindsight is 20/20. Exactly, okay, so you can look back on anything that you've done and see it in a far clearer picture. So now, if you look at it from your point of view now, was she worth thinking that she was that great?
She wasn't, you know. Sorry to blow this.
It's alright, we won't say names. You won't say names.
Exactly, yeah. You know, she wasn't. And look, I don't regret like what happened, you know. Of course. I'm not the type of guy to live in any regret, and you shouldn't certainly live in any kind of regret, you know, of the past, because, you know, I see things in a very kind of romantic way. You know, I'm often told
he's a sweetheart.
That the way I see life and existence is quite romantic, because I think that, look, everything happens for a reason, right? So if we had a bad experience when we were younger, not a bad experience, but, you know, if we put someone on a pedestal,
everything's a lesson, isn't it?
Yeah, everything is
every day is a school day.
Yeah, and you know, you're evolving, you're changing, you know, and there'll come a point where you won't be putting her on a pedestal, or, you know, him on a pedestal.
Do you think that, obviously we deal with a lot of different type of guys, and we try and help them through things, do you think there's a specific sort of character trait, or I would say a collection of guys per se, that tend to put women on pedestals? Is there like a character traits that make people more susceptible to thinking that people are out of their league?
Definitely, yeah, really good question. I'm loving it.
Try my best.
Yeah, no, I definitely believe that it's number one, it's the guys who tend not to go out much, you know, tend not to socialize, and also to socialize kind of with the opposite sex, because those types of guys, like they wouldn't know, you know, they'll lack that experience, so they wouldn't know like what the reality is, you know, outside. Like you're looking at TV, mainstream media, and you're thinking, hold on, like, you know, a guy has to act like this, or, you know, a guy has to put a girl on a pedestal.
Do you think they've got like a very, I would say, a stereotypical view of women? Do you think that kind of, and that's definitely why, if they haven't, like you say, if they haven't socialised with many women, maybe the very few that they do come into contact with, or the very few that they do see in the media and things along those lines, is it a likelihood, because they're so unfamiliar with the reality of what a female is, that they then put them on a pedestal?
I think you've hit the net. You've basically hit the nail right on the head there. You know,
trying your best.
Exactly. It is stereotypical. Like, it's, as you say, you know, it's very stereotypical.
Because I imagine, I mean, I'm not sure how many pedestals I've been put upon myself, but I know, I imagine.
I can't count the amount of pedestals.
Shut up.
It's true.
Okay, but for me, I would say, if I was walking down the street, even me as a female, I do like to appreciate how beautiful people are. So if a tall, 6 foot, leggy blonde bombshell walks past, I'd probably be like, whoa, she's amazing. And then if you got to know her and she was a really nice person, I imagine a lot of people would put such a type on a pedestal, because they don't come around very often. So is it also one of the points of, if the rarity of that type of person, is it then more likely to put them on a pedestal?
And it's exactly that, you know, it is really that. It's a rarity, because just purely because these guys, they don't go out and they don't see it that often. But also, that as a population, you know, you don't, how often do you see that, you know, tall,
beautiful, perfect,
beautiful blonde?
Well, there's a reason why. There's a reason why famous people look the way that they look and are famous. Essentially, if you take out the pedestal aspect of dating and you put it in a general context of life, celebrities are people that we all collectively as a society put on pedestals, because they have something that we deem maybe unachievable or unique compared to the average person. So when you then translate that down to just everyday life and dating, when you meet somebody within maybe your workplace, your social group, or even just on a night out, that has something that little bit extra special in comparison to the surroundings, then you want to put them on a pedestal and make them feel special. You do it by anything, any sort of unique artifact, for example. It's just maybe human nature that we cherish something that little bit different. Maybe it's something to do with our personalities in that regard. But when it comes to, I think, putting females on a pedestal in your dating life, as great as it is to compliment a woman, I'm not saying not to compliment a woman, not to make her feel special, not at all. But there is a differentiating degree of making her feel special and making her feel in this strange, unobtainable place. And that, not only is that, you know, a lot of pressure on her to uphold, but also the bigger the gap that you feel between you and her, the worse you feel. Because even if you might look at her up here, but in reality, she's average. But if that gap is still the same, you lower yourself in comparison to where you place her in your social standings. So really, I don't see putting people on a pedestal as a good thing. I actually see it more as a singular solidarity, like you're demeaning yourself by raising somebody so high in your view. I had a conversation with, hilariously, so I was out in Edinburgh the other week helping train a client, and we went out and I got bombarded by a very upset lesbian. Right, randomly. This story does have a point. Very upset lesbian. She'd just broken up with her girlfriend, and she was crying and saying how great she was and that she didn't deserve her, all of this, like basically beating herself up. And anybody who either knows me, works with me, or I've trained, you know that I deal in tough love. So this poor lesbian sat down at this table, and I was like, tell me why she's better than you are. She's like, oh, but she's nice and she's... And I'm like, no, because you're nice. and you're pretty. So give me solid facts as to why she is better than you.
Yeah.
She couldn't come up with anything.
None, yeah, no facts.
She couldn't come up with anything. But yet she's in a pub crying to a stranger because she thinks she's so great. But actually, what it's based upon is not facts. It isn't about what you have and what you don't have. You have just created that version of that person in your mind yourself. And look how it left her. She's crying. And that, nobody has that power to make you that upset.
No.
Nobody should have that power.
It's an interesting thing, the point that you made, like before and now. I think, you know, the fact that we have social media nowadays, it makes it so much easier for us to, like, you know, stalk that person. So yeah. So, you know, we can look at their photos and
see the very best versions, and because essentially now pedestaling, we call it pedestaling, has become even more, I think, rife in general society because of social media. Now, we've done videos on the effects of social media before, but it is still ever apparent, and it will not stop. Essentially, what you're looking at on social media, whether it be Instagram, even, you know, Twitter, Facebook, anything, you're looking at people's highlight reels. You're not looking at them as a complete package. So even the most... It's not the truth.
No.
It is a blown up, fluffed up version of what they want their lives to be and how they want to be perceived. Now, it's your job as the perceiver to look through that and to look past it. It's very easy to take somebody on face value. They look great, they sound great, they are great. And then suddenly in your mind and in your life, that's what they are. They are great. But what you need to do is actually not compare them to yourself, not compare how great they look, but to actually take a more mature way of looking at a person and knowing that even if they put out good stuff, there will be something wrong in their lives. I'm not saying wrong with them, because really having imperfections isn't wrong, but they will have imperfections. And you need to be able to see that. You need to be comfortable enough in yourself to be able to see that in other people and acknowledge it and accept it.
And you got to be careful, like, you don't get too sucked into this like fake reality, you know, of those pictures, those stories. You know, you need to meet them in real life and see, you know, see how it is, because people exaggerate, you know, their lives through these things. And, you know, I think this takes me all the way back to like the real life settings. You know, when you go out, when you go to a bar, when you go to a club, you know, we all know, guys always know that classic kind of tip, you know, from guys who approach, and dating coaches, that they will always tell you to approach as soon as you see her, as soon as, you know, approach as soon as you can, because this gets rid of any kind of doubt in your mind, and the more that you think about them, you know, the more that you might find them on social media, you know, God forbid. You see
them out, you find them, and you build up this strange reality in your mind of what they actually are. Like, I've been out, I mean, when I go out, I socialise with everybody, whether it be men, females, you know, everyone. And I'll be talking to a bunch of guys in the corner, and they're like, oh God, look at that girl, she's so beautiful. And I'm like, all right, well then, come on then, I'll be your wing girl, let's go.
Let's do it.
We walk over, and she is the dullest doorpost you have ever come across. And it's one of those things, but from afar, they were building her up to be this massive, amazing, beautiful person that they'll never attain. I forced them out of their comfort zone to actually go and talk to her, and they were like, oh, I'm not really bothered. But without that instigation, about pushing yourself and actually getting to know the person, they would have sat in the corner and they would have built her up to be something that she's completely not. Now, she was lovely. She wasn't my type. She was just a bit boring. Some people like that. But it's one of those things where a fantasy is very rarely a reality.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And remember that, look, no one is perfect as well. You know, this example, you might see a picture of someone or see someone in a bar, which on the surface of it, you know, they'll look great, you know, they'll look amazing, you know, she's all dressed up. What's the expression? To the nines? To the tens?
Yeah, dressed up to the nines.
To the nines, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not
I never quite got why.
I don't know why you got
tens.
That'll be another video. We'll talk about that another time.
Anyway, yeah. So they're all dressed up, but you know they're not perfect. You meet them and you might find that she's boring, she's dull, she doesn't have a personality. You know, or you could. I mean, don't get me wrong. You could really connect with her. You know, she could be really outgoing. You could find yourself on the same wavelength. So,
but I will bring yourself to that, because when I say she's out of your league, you can say that she's amazing and you can big her up, but when you have that connection, you can still have those thoughts, but it's now based in reality.
Yeah.
Because when you have that connection, it stops from going from idolizing someone to actually having a connection with someone.
Yeah.
So it's not as if you have to think she's great and then you get to know her and oh yeah, she comes down a lot. If you have a connection and she sees you on par with her, then that sort of illusion of leagues vanishes, and you are then in the same league as her.
Yeah,
it doesn't
exactly.
matter. It's not based on looks or anything. It's about a human connection that you have between you. And then leagues and looks and all things that are necessarily on the shallow side of dating and relationships vanish. And then you're with this amazing girl.
Exactly. Yeah.
One thing I will say, and I know this maybe probably sounds more egotistical than it should.
Go for it.
Obviously, I've got a lot of followers who follow me on YouTube and on Instagram and things. Hi, thanks guys for following. But a lot of you, I read your comments and it's as if I am this perfect person that can do no wrong. I mean, you work with me. I'm a red hot mess sometimes. Yeah. You don't feed me, I'm terrible. I'm a terrible human being.
The personality comes out. That's what she's trying to say.
And that's the thing. Yeah. So a lot of you guys see me on the front of the camera, and I am very similar to this in real life, but the times when I'm off the camera, food deprived, I'm caffeine deprived, I'm a very different person. But it doesn't take anything away from your appreciation of me. But if you met me in the street, your ideas of me would definitely change. And like I said, they get based more in reality.
Yeah.
And then it has more human connection on your stance. You can gauge me as a person. So until you put yourself out there, eradicate that idea of she's out of my league, so I'm not going to talk to her. You can always have the idea of she's out of my league, or I should say, I think she's out of my league. Let's go find out.
Yeah, find out.
Yeah, find out. Don't have this idea of leagues as a fence between you and that person. Because what you actually want it to do is to be more of a challenge. If you think, wow, she's amazing, let's go see if we have a connection. Let's go see what she's like as a person. And that then brings whatever ideal fantasies you have of her into reality. And then it doesn't leave you feeling like you're left out of something. Yeah. It doesn't leave you on the outskirts of what you want. You're actually going to get what you want. And you'd find it that, I mean, not every person will accept you. Simple as that, because rejection is rife. We all get rejected as dating coaches because that's the way the world works. I mean,
I don't get rejected.
Oh, shut up! Shut up! It happens because you never know the circumstances that you're walking into. One thing I will say about Iain, he very rarely gets rejected, to be fair, and they're always all like, she's married or something. Unless you try, you will never know.
Yeah.
And instead of seeing it as a negative thing, that means you're unworthy, what you should do is work on the fact, if you find yourself always having these thoughts of, I can't get her because, she's out of my league because, I'm not being able to attain her because, stop thinking that and start thinking, why do I think that of this person?
Yeah.
Why have I got that mental view of more yourself than that person?
Yeah. Whenever I hear the words, she is out of my league, you know, it really does.
It niggles at me?
Yeah, it makes me shiver. Actually, it really makes me shiver.
Right.
And it's the type of thing where I always imagine it, some guy in a pub, you know, somewhere on like a country road, off a country road in a pub, who will say that, you know, that's the kind of,
oh, she's out of my league.
And it's a very kind of like a futile statement, you know.
Yeah.
You've already kind of given up. Mm-hmm. You know, you've already given up on yourself when in reality, like, by all means, look, go out and improve on yourself. You know, whether it's your confidence or how you communicate, or even like, I'm not saying looks are important, but you know, if you think that you're overweight, or if you're not comfortable with your weight, then go hit the gym, because you know, yeah, you can change that. Yeah, and look, I'm not saying that looks are the be all and end all in this. You know, it's
for sure.
It's
but that's what most people peg the saying they're out of your league on. It's normally based on looks.
Yeah.
It's not normally based on personality. It's not normally. It never goes that much deeper than either very shallow social connection and looks. It normally peters on the surface, and that is something that, again, like I said before, it's probably more of a reflection on you and how you feel about the way you look than actually how great that other person looks. So if you are having issues and confidence issues, you will find it maybe more attainable and easy to understand and safer for your soul if you start putting up these fences and giving yourself boxes to work in, because then you're not scared of what's around you because you're working on such a confined thing. But it really doesn't have to be that way. If you are figuring out that you are fencing people off and shutting down certain aspects and alleyways of your life and your social life, what you need to do is take a moment and decide to work on yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't feel like you're the best looker, doesn't matter if you have a great personality. I've said this a million times, I'll say it again. If you're funny, you can laugh me into bed. I don't care what you look like. If you are funny and I'm splitting at the seams with laughter, it will happen. It will work, okay? I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm easy, but I absolutely love somebody who's funny. But funny normally comes with confidence, and that's what you need to find within yourself. And I think if you put people out of your league, it's more of a lack of confidence than that person being better than you in any sort of way.
Yeah, I know coming from like being a guy and coming from a guy's angle, I know that you will have certain beliefs, masculine, you know, beliefs about yourself, about women, about the opposite sex. So sometimes it's useful, it's important to be aware of like what you believe, you know, have a think about what you believe and what kind of prejudices do you have against, well, not against, but, you know, of kind of women. So what do you believe about women? You know, do you think that, you know, women, they should take on a more traditional, or are you more be
in the kitchen?
Yeah, are you more about equality? So I'm not, look, you don't need to, it's all up to you, but just be mindful that these things will really shape, you know, how your interactions, yeah,
the
how
way
you
that
communicate.
You view women generally.
Yeah.
No, because you're completely right. I think people underestimate the power that their childhood and their upbringing has moulded values of lots of different things, but especially about how you view the opposite sex. And so if you're finding a tendency that you do put people out of your league, is it based on fact, or is it based on something that you've been taught, created through your the way that you've walked through your life? Have you created this idea throughout your childhood and the way that you've seen women maybe through the media that they do deserve something, you know, different, something better, like a certain type of woman that's too rare and all of this? And when you can perceive that yourself, like Iain says, you actually take a minute to think about it, you'd actually probably be surprised at how it affects your thought patterns, reflecting both on yourself and the opposite sex. So it's something you have to be actively aware of and actively wanting to push past it.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. Like I said a minute ago, it's like fencing people off. What you want to do is, rather be in a position where you're putting people in these boxes, is be in a place where you're like, right, well, I think that person's in a different box to me. I'm going to figure out how I can get in that box. I'm going to figure out how I can be over there, and spread yourself out and learn and grow as a person. And when you do that, you'll actually find that these people that you thought once unattainable now become very attainable. And the more that you grow and the more authentic and the more of a well-rounded person you become, you then become the person who's put on a pedestal by others. And it's a vicious circle that will probably never end, because there's always people who are less confident in the world and feel differently. But what you want to become is the person that people want to look for and that they are striving towards to have it involved in their life. And that takes a lot of confidence, takes a lot of effort, does take a lot of self-awareness and personal growth.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of humility as well. Really, it really does. It can be difficult. It can be difficult because human beings have an ego about themselves, and they think that, you know, these things don't need to be changed. You know, that these things should be just automatic, and, you know, you should be good with women. And
I should come out of the womb and be good with women.
Yeah, exactly.
Not how that happens. It's not a thing. People do need to constantly try at new things. And if you're in a circumstance in which your love life isn't working for you, your dating life isn't making you happy and isn't fun or enjoyable, and you actually feel that the whole concept of dating is negative, then you need to maybe take a moment and figure out that you actually need to work on yourself. The good thing is, that's what we're here for. We are literally here and established for that specific moment.
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying that you don't need to reinvent the wheel, okay? Like when it's already been done for you, you can spend, you will spend months, you'll spend years, not months, but you'll spend years trying to figure out yourself, and it's not an efficient way of doing it. So, by all means, seek out a mentor in that field, whether it's, dating or business, or seek out a mentor, someone that you can learn on, someone that has achieved those things, and you'll be surprised as to how quickly, how drastically your results can change. So
definitely, no, I agree. So it's one of those things, if you are sat here thinking, and you've thought, when we're talking about people out of your league, if you've thought about 10 people in your life have popped up, you're like, oh, she's out my league, she's out my league, and you have that thought track a lot, then we are here to help you. We basically have created custom designed plans, ebooks, products laden with strategies and ideas that can work for you in your specific circumstance to make sure that you're breaking through whatever mental boundaries you've set up for yourself, whether they're new boundaries after a breakup or something, or whether they're old boundaries that you've created through your childhood and the way that you do perceive yourself and women and how you interact with them. We've created ebooks, products, courses, and you can find them all at kamalifestyles.com.
Yeah.
So we're going to pop the link up down here.
Right down below.
And we're going to pop a little card up here above Ian's head, over his face. And that will take you to kamalifestyles.com. Or you can get in contact with us if you have a specific requirement. If you do feel like you're constantly putting people on pedestals and so many people that you encounter are out of your league, then get in contact with us. Now, we've got the contact us link in the description box below. If you head in there, one of our customer service reps will be back with you in less than 24 hours. So you can be literally set on your way tomorrow to get a new perspective in the world of dating, a new perspective on yourself that's going to make sure that no one is ever out of your league again.
Yeah, and guys, like, realize that, it sometimes just takes, you can read something in an ebook, or you can take a course, and it just takes one small idea to really change your perspective on things.
Snowballs, isn't it?
Yeah, it snowballs. And small things typically have just a little shift in your thinking, just an idea really to change everything, and that's where our ebooks come in, that's where our courses come in, and that's where our guidance will help you, help you get those results.
It's amazing to see people when we do trainings, like you said, it's those little things, and it's the way that you've never perceived yourself before, or the way that you've never perceived others, and as soon as somebody puts that little nugget of information in your head, it's like a little light switch.
Exactly, yeah.
That then changes everything else that you kind of thought you knew. And it's very interesting to see it, and it's great to be involved in people making such revelations about themselves and about others, and it can really, the tiniest thing, like you said, can change the whole landscape of your dating life literally instantly. Yes,
I mean, so coming back to, is she out of your league? Well, the conclusion is that
no one is.
No one is, yeah, they're not. It really is not. There's no set kind of criteria. You might think it's based on your looks, but just think that tomorrow you can make changes to yourself, to your life, and it really is easy. So never think that someone's out of your league.
It's more of a mental perception of yourself than the actual person being better than you. And if you remember that, as you meet people and encounter new people, if you have that little thing that goes, oh, she's out of my league, stop yourself, say, and ask yourself, why? Why, factually, is she out of your league? Why is she better than you? Why is she more valuable than you? Because really, what you're going to come around with is not actual facts, it's more the point of your negative perception of yourself. Those are the things that are going to come up. It's not based on anything that's real. And when you have those negative perceptions of yourself, That's something that can change. If you work on yourself, you change and adapt and grow, you'd be surprised that actually your horizons open up and then no one is out of your league.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed our Karma Couch today, and I hope it's given you some kind of ideas and new perspectives on the topic of, you know, is a girl out of your league? Now, guys, don't forget to check out our various products. Yeah, our services, our live trainings.
Yes.
As well as our kind of various events and you know, promotions coming up at Kamalifestyles. And you can find a link to our website right down below at kamalifestyles.com.
Yes.
Okay, and
like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe.
We forgot that bit, didn't we? We always say that bit. How can you forget that bit? Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Do follow us on all of our social media.
Exactly.
Of course, you know where to find the links down below in the description box. I've been Annabella Rose. This beautiful human has been Iain Myles, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.